August 15th, 2026, and I hope everybody's been having a wonderful day so far today. It is about 11 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there right now, and it is already super hot here in South Carolina. I got an alert on my phone this morning that said that we had stifling heat on the forecast, so looks like it's going to be a really hot day here. And I didn't put up a video yesterday because we had family come into town from West Virginia. We were out running around all afternoon yesterday, and we went out to go get dinner, and I just did not have time, and I didn't want to take away from family to film. But this morning, we're about to head out here in just a little bit, so I figured let me go ahead and get today's video filmed before we go out and start running around and doing stuff. But today's video is going to have to do with that as well, and I'm going to get into that here in just a second, why, what I'm going to be talking about today with the fact that we're out running around has to do with drinking. But I hope that everybody is having a wonderful day so far today. I hope everybody was able to make it through one more day yesterday. You know, those Fridays can be difficult. You worked all week. You've had a difficult week at work. Your boss gave you a hard time. You've been arguing with your kids. You've been arguing with your spouse. You just worked 70 hours last week. You didn't get any sleep. You're super stressed out. You don't know how you're going to pay your mortgage payment this month. You're running low on funds and the bills keep coming in. You just want to be able to just sit back, have a drink, and relax, especially on a Friday night, and especially if that was the night that you really drank a lot back when you were drinking. You know, you worked all week long, and then Friday night, you deserved it, right? That's what we tell ourselves. I deserve to be able to get wasted drunk. I worked all week. I've dealt with so much stress. I deserve to get wasted drunk tonight. And when we finally get sober, it can be a little bit difficult when that Friday comes back around again. You're on your way home from work, you see your favorite liquor store on the way, you think about turning in, or you see that gas station that you used to stop at every Friday and pick up your case of beer and your pack of smokes. And man, it sure is tempting when you're driving by to just stop in because you're just going to drink for tonight, just this one Friday. It's been a really stressful week. But we make it through one more day. You know, you just keep driving past. You drive past that liquor store. You drive past that gas station, and you go straight home. And you don't drink again. You make it through one more day. One more achievement. You know, we've made it through it. And then you wake up on Saturday morning, and you're like, man, I've got the whole entire weekend ahead of me, and I don't feel bad today. And you wake up, and you don't have a headache. You can get right up out of bed and make your coffee. You don't feel like you're about to throw up. You don't feel like you have to run to McDonald's and get, 3 sausage biscuits and 4 hash browns and a big jumbo Coca-Cola just to be able to, settle your stomach down a little bit because you're so nauseated from the night before and you need to put something greasy in your belly and you're trying to sober up the next morning on Saturday. My point to all this is, like I said, and what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is all the wasted time that we wasted back when we were in active addiction, especially on something like the weekends. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the weekend per se. Like, you worked Monday through Friday and then you drink heavy Saturday and Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If your days off were Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, I mean, that's your weekend. So, if it was Monday, Tuesday, you were drinking heavy on Sunday night. And that's what I used to do. Sunday night used to be my Friday night. And I would get so drunk on Sunday nights. And then, guess what? My Monday and Tuesday that I had off, I couldn't get anything done because I was so hungover, because I drank so heavily on that Sunday night that my other 2 days or day off, I wasn't getting anything accomplished. All I did was lay around, watch YouTube, lay in the bed, liquor bottle beside me, mixing drinks. I was already wasted drunk on Monday before noon again. And like I said, that's what I want to talk about in today's video, because when we get sober, man, it opens up so many opportunities for us, all the time. And it's crazy too, when you get sober, you realize how much time that you actually really do have in a day. And it's so much more time. You can get so much more done. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into today's. What made me think about this is I woke up this morning And I got up at like, I don't know, it was like 7 o'clock, 7:05 or something like that when I got up out of the bed. And I went straight into the kitchen and made myself a cup of coffee. And I closed the bedroom door. My wife was still asleep, and I wanted to give her a couple extra minutes. So I went downstairs and turned the television on and was just sitting there drinking my coffee and just thinking about, what we had in store for today. Just trying to kind of plan out the day before things got started. And I was just thinking, we're probably going to go get something to eat. And this is what I would need to wear today. And I need to make sure I have this and that with me. And I started thinking about, it'd be nice to run here, and it'd be nice to go show them this and go show them that and go to this place. And back when I was in active addiction, I was trying to think about how I can get out of everything. When I woke up in the morning, the very first thing that I was thinking about, especially on a weekend like this where we have family coming to town and we're supposed to be out showing them around town for the weekend and going out and eating and walking around downtown and going to the mall, or going and driving around and just looking at places and stuff. When people come into town, especially family, you take them out, you show them around where you live. You go out and have something to eat and go look at the historical places around you and things like go to the local museum and things like that. That's what we're supposed to do. But when I was in active addiction, when it came that time that we were supposed to go out and do things, like I said, that morning, the very first thing that I was thinking about is, how am I going to get out of this today? How am I going to be able to talk my way out of going and dealing with all of this? Because I'm so hungover, I can't do it. The very first thing I would do when I woke up is I'd go and I'd throw up. That was a ritual every single morning. It got to a point, and I know I talk about this all the time, but it was one of the worst parts about my addiction, was just throwing up every single day. I felt so nauseous when I would wake up in the morning. I would go straight downstairs. I didn't have to stick my finger down my throat or anything. I would just lean over the toilet and throw up. And I'd throw up, 2, 3, 4 times. And what's the very first thing that I would do as soon as I got done doing that? I'd flush the toilet, wash my mouth out. I'd go and make myself a liquor drink. And then I would go sit on the toilet for an hour with diarrhea, playing around on my phone, drinking a liquor drink. I'd go make another one, and then I'd make another one. And I knew that we were supposed to be heading out at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And here it is, because when I used to drink too, I woke up very, very early in the morning. I was up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning every day because I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up to go pee or something like that, and I'd throw up, and then I'd stay up the rest of the morning. I could not sleep because I was so hungover, I couldn't sleep. And I know that doesn't make any sense, because a lot of us, when we're hungover, that's all we do, is we want to just sleep. It was the exact opposite for me. When I was hungover, I could not sleep. I felt too sick. The room would be spinning. I felt super dizzy. I was always nauseous. My stomach was a complete wreck, so I needed to go spend time in the bathroom. I just couldn't sleep. So like I said, I'd go spend my whole entire morning sitting in the bathroom, either throwing up or going number 2, drinking liquor drinks. And then when it came time for us to go ahead and head out, I was always already too drunk to do anything for the day. And, here it is, my wife, she's, in her mind, I'm going to be the one, I'm her husband. She thinks he's going to be the one driving us around for the day. And then here it is. If I couldn't figure out a way to talk my way out of going for that day and I still had to go, I'd have to tell my wife I can't drive. And then the first thing of the day, now my wife's upset with me. You've already had too much to drink to be able to drive. I just can't. My anxiety's too bad. And yes, I had 3 beers this morning, knowing I was lying through my teeth. I'd already had like 6 cocktails, and it's 11 o'clock in the morning. And my point to this is, it's not about the driving or anything like that, is the whole entire weekend would be ruined, because I would wake up first thing in the morning on Saturday or whatever day it was, and I would start drinking super heavy, and I would be wasted drunk first thing in the morning. And here it is, we're supposed to go out and have lunch, go walk around. And like I said, if I couldn't talk my way out of going, I would spend the whole entire day out with them drunk. And I mean wasted drunk. I mean cross-eyed drunk. And at some point, my wife would just take me home because I just couldn't do it anymore. I was falling asleep. I could barely walk. So she'd have to just bring me back home and drop me off. And then I'd go inside and spend the rest of the afternoon sleeping. My family would be out for the rest of the day. They'd come back home. And, and then they say, okay, I'd woken back up at this point by now. And, it was always, I was always the one that cooked. So instead of us going out to eat, I've never been a huge fan of going out to eat. I would prefer to cook at home. So we'd run to the store, or they went to the store and picked up a bunch of steaks and stuff like that. And I would start cooking here at the house. And I got drunk that morning. I slept all afternoon. I woke up again, let's say 5 o'clock in the evening or some 6 o'clock, and then I started pounding liquor drinks again. Well, I cooked dinner. Now I'm cross-eyed drunk again. We would eat. I would go pass out and then wake up Sunday morning and start the whole process over again. My point to this is, guys, is that all I did that weekend when I was supposed to be out, hanging out with my family, doing things with them, going out to the museum, going out and eating with each other, going to walk around the park together, just going out and shopping, doing things together. Instead of me doing those things, I spent maybe 3 hours awake the whole entire day, maybe 6 to 8 hours the whole entire weekend, because I got so drunk, and then I would pass out and sleep the rest of the time. And they were out running around doing everything. And instead of me spending time with them, I had to stay home because I felt too bad. Just wasted time. And I can think back to so many times when we had family coming to town, friends coming to town, or we went somewhere. We went up to West Virginia to spend time with family, or Virginia to spend time with family, and I didn't spend any time with anybody because I was either wasted drunk or sleeping the whole entire time. And when we get sober, this is what I was thinking about this morning, is that when we get sober, we have the whole entire weekend ahead of us. It opens up so many doors when we get sober. It's like living a whole new life. Like this morning when I was sitting there drinking my coffee, watching YouTube, I was like, I've got the whole day ahead of me. What are we going to do? What are we going to get into? I can't wait to go to the museum, or go walk around downtown, or go get something to eat, or whatever. I'm not trying to wiggle my way out of going. I already know that I'm going. I'm going to be the one driving everyone around today. Everybody's going to get in the van. I'm going to drive. We're going to go places. My wife, last night, we were talking about what we were going to get into today, and I told my wife, I'd like to go to the museum, perhaps, or go walk around downtown. I know I keep saying that over and over again. I don't want to say exactly what we're doing today, but I was excited about going out and doing stuff. I'm excited about spending time with my family. I'm excited about walking around and being out in the open air and, getting that fresh sunshine, on me all day long, and maybe catching a little bit of a tan, and eating some really good food, and watching my kids laugh when something happens that's funny, and, just making memories with them today, and taking pictures with them, and I'll remember the whole entire day, and then tomorrow we're going to get up and do something again together, and make more memories, and experience more things together with my family, and take a bunch of pictures and videos with them, and just stuff that I'll never forget for the rest of my life, the time that I spent with them. Because back when I was in active addiction, none of that ever would have happened, because my whole entire weekend would have revolved around that bottle. My entire weekend would have revolved around, how can I get over here to, to mix myself another drink? How much longer until I can go home so I can drink in the fashion that I want to? The whole entire time I'm sneaking off to a bathroom to take a shot out of a mini bottle, or take a swig out of my water bottle that's filled with vodka that I've got in my backpack, or let's hurry up and go to this restaurant. And the only reason I wanted to go sit down in a restaurant when we're out shopping or something is because I want to sit down and order a mixed drink. And when we're in a restaurant, I can order one, and, I can drink right there. It's not like I'm drinking on the sidewalk or something like that. It's actually a legal place for me to be able to drink. And while everybody else is having water or a Diet Coke or something like that, here it is, 11:30 in the morning, and we're out having lunch, and I'm already having a double vodka with Sprite with a twist of lime in it. And I drink 4 of those before we even leave for lunch, and a couple of tall beers or something, because I need to pound as much alcohol as I can in me before we go to the next place. Because my anxiety is so bad. Because I woke up that morning with hangxiety so bad that I could barely even get out of the bed. the hangxiety was so bad that I felt like, I had this impending doom that was coming in on me, and I had no idea what was about to happen. I just knew that I was afraid. I just knew that I didn't feel comfortable. And I knew that if I drank more, that it would make me feel a little bit better for maybe a couple of minutes. Like I said, guys, when we get sober, our weekends completely open up. And I'm sorry if you're not off on Saturday and Sundays. I completely get it. My whole entire life, I was off on weekdays. I never had weekends off unless I was on vacation. So I know exactly what you're going through, not having the weekend off like everybody else does. It feels weird. You're off on Monday and Tuesday or something. Everybody else is at work. You're off. You never get to spend time with other people because you're always off when everybody else is at work, and vice versa. But either way, if you're off on Mondays and Tuesdays or Thursdays and Fridays or Saturdays and Sundays, whatever it is, your days off completely open up for you. You've got the whole day ahead of you. You can get so much stuff done. And if you just want to sit around watching TV or watching movies all day long, or just sitting around reading a book, that's your life. You can do whatever you want. And if that's what you enjoy doing, great for you. I'm happy for you. If you enjoy going out and riding dirt bikes, or going out and hiking, or going camping for the weekend, or going fishing for the weekend, or going and panning gold. I don't know, whatever you're into. If you enjoy going out and, going for a hike on your day off, or whatever it is, you've got the whole entire weekend to go do those things. It just opens up so many opportunities for us. We're not just spending our whole entire weekend chasing alcohol or chasing a substance and trying to consume as much as we can, and how much longer until we can get here so that I can use again or drink again. You don't have that ball and chain on you, always following you wherever you go. You can do whatever it is that you want to do now. You can drive again because you're not drunk. You don't have to worry about, every single time that you see the Crown Victoria lights, or whatever the police car is in your town, whenever you see those lights behind you in the rearview mirror, you don't have to worry, oh no, I've already had a half of a bottle of vodka this morning, or if I get pulled over, I'm going to get a DUI, or oh no, I've got this bag of, a controlled substance in the vehicle, and if I get pulled over, I'm going to jail. I'm going to have to eat it all really quick. And we don't worry about any of that anymore. You don't have to worry about anything. Of course we have normal everyday worries in life. Am I going to be able to pay my rent this month or whatever? But you don't have the worries, am I going to get a DUI this morning? Or am I going to get pulled over and get arrested because I have drugs on me? Or is my family going to be upset with me again because I'm spending all my time drinking and being drunk this weekend instead of doing things with them? That's another thing too about it, is that, if you've got the weekend off and you're spending time with friends or family, you're not wasted drunk. You're not making a fool out of yourself anymore. You're not upsetting people because you're doing things that you don't even remember even doing anymore. Like I said, guys, it just changes the whole dynamic of your weekend. Once again, it opens everything up for you. You can go out and do so much. You can go sit down at the restaurant and have lunch with your friends or your family, and all of a sudden your lunch only costs like $10, and you drop a $5 tip. It was $15 because you got a water and one meal, and that's it. You didn't go into a restaurant and spend $100 at 11 o'clock in the morning drinking. Anytime I used to go out to eat back when I was in active addiction, just myself alone was at least $150 because I drank everything. I would get like an order of wings or something like that. The rest of it was all alcohol. Not anymore. When we go out to eat, it doesn't cost us hardly anything at all. Another thing too, when I was in active addiction, if there was a restaurant that we were trying to decide to go to eat at, let's say we were at the beach and we were there with all of our family, we got the grandparents there and we're all there hanging out, and we're trying to figure out where we're going to go have dinner tonight. If they didn't serve alcohol, it was a hard no. I'm not going there. I missed out on so many great opportunities to try really good food, restaurants I had heard great reviews about, and I really wanted to go try the food, but they didn't sell alcohol. I was not going there. That was the very first thing that I checked when I went online to check and see something about a restaurant. Like, oh, let's go to, this, Captain Jay's Fish House, and I'd go on there and look it up, and the very first thing I checked on their menu was beverages to see if they sold alcohol. And if they didn't, nope, I didn't like their menu. I don't like the way the menu looks. We can't go there. Now we can go anywhere and eat. If there's some little roadside, food truck, and it looks like, they got the greatest tacos in the world that we've heard about, and they don't sell alcohol, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm not drinking anyway, and I can stop there and eat it. Like I said, guys, it just opens up so many doors for us, so many opportunities, and it totally changes our days off, our weekends, and spending time with friends and family, and going out and having fun and doing things. And one of the greatest things about it is, too, guys, is you can remember everything you did during the weekend because you're not blackout drunk. Guys, being sober, it totally changes our life in so many different ways. But one of the best things that it does for us, like I said, is that our weekends become open. They become free. We don't have the ball and chain of a substance following us around everywhere we go. We get to decide what we want to do. We get to choose what we want to do for the whole entire day, and we don't have to worry about waking up and having a drink because we have to leave at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you got to fit in 2 liquor drinks so that you can go here or go there because the hangxiety is so bad. And now, you guys are out walking around downtown and you're trying to get everybody to go into a restaurant to have lunch because you want to be able to have a couple of drinks, or just the whole entire weekend revolves around alcohol or a substance and you trying to get more of it into yourself. When we're sober, none of that matters anymore. None of it. You can just go out and spend time with your friends, with your family, or just by yourself. But you don't have that ball and chain following you around anymore, and you can go out and do whatever it is that you want to do. Being sober is being free. And that's about the only thing that I can think, how to word this, is that sobriety is freedom, guys. It really, truly is. And the freedom that it gives us, especially on our weekends, and we're not tied up worrying about getting drunk the whole entire time, and we're not spending our weekend being hungover. And when you want to go out and do something, when your spouse says it's time to leave, you're not like, oh my gosh, really? Do we really have to do this? You're like, okay, cool, let's go do it. Like I said, sobriety is freedom. And today, let's hold on to that freedom one more day. I know how hard it can be to stay sober on the weekends, guys. I really, truly do. Especially when you get a phone call from your next door neighbor or a friend of yours and they tell you, hey, we're heading up to the lake and we're going to be pulling the tubes behind the boat and we're going to be out there drinking, and why don't you come, and we're barbecuing ribs and all that stuff. And you already know it's just not for you anymore. It's just not your life anymore, and you want to be free from now on. You can say no to that and pick and choose, what you really want to get into now. Go do the things that you really enjoy. And like I said, not have that ball and chain of alcohol or a substance following you around, ruining your whole entire weekend. You can actually go out and spend time with your children, or spend time with your spouse, or spend time with your family members, or spend time with your friends. Be clear-headed. Remember everything. Have a great time. You're not out blackout drunk, making a fool out of yourself, embarrassing yourself, waking up Sunday morning, trying to call everybody that was with you the night before, waking them up just to ask them what happened because you were blackout drunk and don't remember anything, and you can't find your car keys, your wallet, or your phone from the night before. Hell, you might not even know where your car is. You might have woken up somewhere where you don't even know where you're at. When we're sober, you wake up, you know where you are. There's no surprises. The coffee in the morning, your first cup of coffee it's one of the best things in the world. You're watching the sun come up. And like I said, you've got the whole entire day, the whole entire weekend ahead of you. And you're going to have a good time. And you're going to remember everything. Guys, let's stay sober one more day. Let's protect our freedom one more day. Our sobriety is the most important thing in our life. Let's protect it with our life. Until tomorrow, guys, I will see you all then. I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend doing whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Until tomorrow, I will see you guys then. Y'all have a great rest of your day.